Namaste. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Seeing is believing. We have all heard this phrase, which means that we believe in the things that we can see. If we see a building which is very tall, we can believe that it is a tall building. If we see a car which is red in color, or if we see this little thread below Mahadev's beads and we see that it is red in color, we believe that it is red in color. But there are some things which we cannot see, but we still believe in. For example, we cannot see air, but we all believe in it. We know that air is essential for our life. It has oxygen and we need to breathe. And therefore, we believe that there is air. But in this case, we believe something without seeing it. And when it comes to higher things like the soul, the Atma as we call it, or God, whom we cannot see, there is a different phrase which is believing is seeing. And we need to believe that we have a soul, we need to believe that there is a God, only then we can start seeing Him. And this is not a blind faith, this is not an andhavishwas. This is the faith of a great seeker. This reminds me of the time in the Mahabharata when the hero warrior Arjun is not wanting to fight his relatives on the other side of a battleground, and Krishna is with him as his Sarathi, his charioteer, one who can take him across this turbulence. And Arjun turns around to Krishna and says, "Help me. I believe that you can help me." And thereafter, Krishna tells him the song of God, the Bhagavad Gita. And after the 11th chapter, he shows him the Virat Roop, the cosmic shape, the cosmic entity that God is. And there are different pictorial representations of this. We have seen Krishna with all the faces of all the gods stuck onto his face, like he's Shivji also, he's Brahmaji also, so on and so forth. But essentially this means that Krishna shows him the one cosmic entity which is everything. So here, that faith of Arjun, the seeker who really wants to know, it is not a blind faith. That is what we call believing is seeing. Actually, the things that we cannot see, like the soul, Atma, and God, Para Atma, they require this faith because we are asking to see something which is not comprehensible to our senses. We can see with our eyes, we can smell with our nose, we can touch with our hands, and these are the senses by which we say, well, we can see, or we can touch, or we can feel, or we can hear, or we can taste. But when it comes to the soul and to God, we have to go beyond these senses. And that is not just the sixth sense, but the sixth sense is a sort of doorway. The sixth sense, we say, is something which is very revelational, very intuitional. But we do realize that the sixth sense is something which is beyond these five senses. But believing in seeing is an even bigger statement. It means beyond even the sixth sense. We need to believe that there is something beyond our senses and that we can get to it if we are sincere seekers. So, believing is seeing actually is the sort of preparation of a sincere seeker. So, there is in life this flip around, like we have Newtonian physics, which tells us about gravity and everything, and it works well for all the principles of physics. But then there comes a time when we have quantum mechanics, which is the physics of the very, very small. And there is a point where the principles of Newtonian physics don't work anymore to explain the phenomena that is happening. And therefore, we shift to quantum physics, quantum mechanics. Similarly, seeing is believing works for a long time in most things that we are used to. But there comes a point when we have to replace that with believing is seeing. We have to prepare ourselves that if we are to meet God, we have to believe that there is a God. Only then we will be able to see Him. If we want to see our own soul, Atma Vyapti, Atma Bodh, self-realization, we have to start believing that our rishis and munis, our saints, our sages, who have always spoken about this Atma, because they have seen it. Now, seen here means experienced it. It is not something that can be seen with the physical eyes, but with the third eye or the inner eye, right? So that belief that the soul does exist, God does exist, actually makes a way for us to be able to see God in the way that He can be seen. I hope you liked this little video. Join me again here next Monday, and I will be back with another Shiva wisdom for you. Om Namah Shivaya.